is now the foundation for the new 5-1 mix that they're doing on this current release. Did you have any idea that these tracks would test time like this?
Not at the time, no. It was just another project that you had to do, and you did the best you can.
If you'd be so kind, could you say I had no idea that
sure.
This would...
I had no idea this would come this far. I mean, this was done many years ago, and at the moment, I didn't even think this would come this far.
I noticed in your book you also had like a note sheet for Motown 25.
Yes.
How much material like that do you still have?
Very little, unfortunately. I wish I had more of these, notes and things that I've taken through different projects. Just why I still have the Motown 25 one, I don't even remember why I kept it, but I still have it. I have some old, memos in there and things like that, and show time, rehearsal times, and mic lists and musicians and whatnot.
You have a unique kind of point of view because you worked directly with Barry for many years, or Mr. Gordy, or the chairman, or BG.
BG, yeah. The boss.
Yeah, the boss, yeah. So I definitely don't want to offend him and call him Barry. So you have a unique point of view by working right hand with Mr. Gordy. How, in your book, your brother does a great job of kind of explaining how you two are kind of yin and yang almost. But can you explain how working with Barry Gordy has impacted your career?
Working with Barry Gordy was probably the highlight of my career. Barry was a competitor, but he is also, if he trusts your judgment and what you're doing, he just gives you full reign. We would, our favorite times, Barry and myself, was when we would mix together. We'd be doing a mix, and he'd do a pass on a song, and he asked me, how was that? And I'd say, oh, it sounded like crap. And we'd laugh, and he'd tell me to do a pass, and I'd say, how was that? And he says, oh, it sounded like crap. And we were actually feeding each other. We were competing, but we were feeding each other. And the results would be a hit record. And I really admire Barry Gordy. I have the most respect I have for anybody is for Barry Gordy, because he's a very smart man. He himself is, just like Don Mischer, would surround himself with the best people he could find. And once he has your trust and his confidence, he just turns you loose. And just he'd say to me, he says, don't be passive. Don't be passive. In other words, go for it. Just do what you think you can. Give yourself the freedom and no limitations, and be as creative as you want to be. And
is that where your go for the throat mixing?
Yes, that's yeah. Actually, I kind of came up with that phrase one time. He says, I'm going to go for the throat, and every time we get together, he says, let's go for the throat. Barry Gordy, his favorite thing was in the studio. He loved to be. Him and I would get we'd just be creative. We'd feed off each other. And I remember one time when we were in Hollywood working, his person came in and said to him, says, Mr. Gordy, it's time to leave. You got a meeting at the office. And it was like taking a sucker away from a little kid. He says, oh, he's got to go. He hated to leave. He looked at me and says, this is where it all comes together, is right here. The creative part of it.